What's up, my Jeep brothers and sisters? We're going to open something. You already have one of these, actually. I don't have one of these on my JK. This is a sway bar disconnect for JKs. And, you know, my four-wheel drive buddy is a four-wheel drive guru, told me I needed this. He tells me a lot of parts I need. Man, most of them I can't afford, but this one I could afford because it's kind of cheap. You know, $100. But he said, what this is going to do for me is it's going to allow me to disconnect my front sway bar even in too high. So when we're bombing down dirt roads, and you want the sway bar still disconnected for a smoother ride, this is the ticket right here. So I'm going to junk the electronic one, and we're going to put this one on. This is from EVO Manufacturing. Just cutting it open here, so we'll see what's inside. And it looks like one big part. I know nothing about this company, but it seemed to get good reviews. And looks like the spring is almost all the way on there. Now it's all the way on there. Okay. Looks like a solid part. I think I can reuse the original bolts. We're going to put this on and see how it goes. See if a redneck like me can install it. And looks like that's the throw of it right there. And that should be all you need to disconnect it or connect it, whichever direction you go. I can't remember. What we're doing today is installing the EVO manual sway bar disconnect. If you work on your Jeep, you know what view this is. We're looking along the back side of the front bumper. And there's the electric sway control motor. And so we'll disconnect this. We'll take these 3 bolts off here, here, and here, and we'll get it off. And then we'll put our manual piece on. And it looks like it should be pretty straightforward. All right, so this has a little tab right here. You have to flip this over it, fold this lever back over, and then this thing will slide off. We'll just get that tab over, and that should be far enough to release it. There we go. Okay. Okay, 15 millimeter. Who knows what's going to fall out of this thing? Spiders or snakes or water. Actually, it's not too bad. It's pretty clean. Now, I stole this idea from another YouTuber. I don't remember who it was, I'm sorry. But he used that to slide the washer in place and then slid something else in to knock it off. So I'm going to use this thinner screwdriver to slide in and knock it off, hold this in place. That was easy. Now, the shape of it lines up with this, so it's pretty straightforward. Try to do this without knocking the washer back out. Okay. Now y'all are gonna laugh at me. Got a 9mm glove here. Sorry about the noise, my wife's driving the tractor. Okay, so here's what it's like. We just ran the wire. It comes out of the wire loom right here. Just ran it back this direction. Zip tied it, zip tied it, zip tied it, zip tied it, and then used a real heavy duty zip tie right here just as an extra backup. These thinner zip ties, especially in the cold, sometimes get brittle and break. So, and I crawl into this Jeep enough that I'll see if it's starting to come apart. And making sure it works, we can make sure that happens by just disconnecting this part of the sway bar right here. Okay, so we disconnected the sway bar here, and you can see it's locked. All right. So the sway bar is connected when this is out. We're going to disconnect the sway bar by screwing this in. Click. And now, woo, there's the full range of motion. So turning it clockwise or in disconnects, turning it counterclockwise and out connects the sway bar. And it's reconnected now, and it's tight again. Okay, so we wrapped the connector up in a 9mm Harbor Freight gloves, pretty thick, and wrapped it up in electrical tape so water can't get in. It can still get corrosion there if water gets in there, but it can get corrosion if it's connected here, right? That's what happens. That's what causes these to fail. One of the reasons it causes them to fail is because water can get inside there and cause the electrical connections to fail, or water can get inside this housing here and cause this mechanism in here to bind up and from corrosion, and it can cause it to jam. So a couple places can go wrong here. So putting it up here, it's out of the way. If it falls down and gets in the way of the suspension, gets mangled or gets torn up, I'm never planning on going back. Okay, I'm always trying to come up with ways to remember things, especially when it's late at night, or maybe it's 11 p.m. and you're just getting back on the road and you're trying to remember which way to turn it. Hopefully it'll be the opposite way you turned it that morning, but just in case, just to make sure you're always turning it the right way, if you're disconnecting it, you can spell the word in the word disconnect. So if you're turning the knob in or clockwise, that's disconnecting it, because you can spell the word in. You can't spell the word in the word connect. Okay, so out would be connecting the sway bar. Or you can remember it, maybe turn it to the right for rocks. Right is clockwise or in. Okay, same kind of thing. So hopefully these mnemonics help you. And if you've got other ideas of how you can remember this or better ways, please let me know down in the comments. Let us know. And it's always helpful. Okay, so our sway bar light is flashing on the Jeep. Sway bar light's flashing because the module or the sway bar motor is off of it. We're going to fix that with this AEV ProCal module. And these are the quick reference guide here. And you can do all the stuff, right? Well, all the things it does: tire size, low pressure tire threshold, axle ratio, blah, blah, blah. We're just going to right here for the auto sway bar system. So it says for these options on this option page to set, if you're doing any of these options, one touch lane change, daytime running lamps or auto sway bar system, it says to set the first 3 dip switches to up, down, and up. So we're just going to come over here and set this. One's already up. We're going to set number 2 to down, and then 3 is up right there. Hopefully it's coming out. And then we'll go down here, and our auto sway bar system, we want it off. So as far as 4 through 9 go, you can turn it on with those settings, or 4 through 9 here, you'll turn it off with these settings. So number 4 should be up, and 5 through 9 should be down. So 4 is up here, and 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 are down. Okay, we'll just double check this, and then we'll go plug it in. Now in the front of this guide, there is 6 steps, and they're pretty straightforward. One is set your dip switches, turn your key 2 clicks, insert the module into your OBD2 port, and then when it's done, the horn should honk twice. And then turn the key off and pull the module out, store the module. 2 clicks. Sway bar light's flashing because the module or the sway bar motor is off of it. So now we'll just take our ProCal module right underneath here. Okay, does that mean it's done? We'll take it out, and that was quick. The lights are gone. Let's just turn it off, take the key out. Okay, that was the easiest thing in the world. Wow. So the biggest reason I'm excited about this is where the sway bar obviously is attached to the frame here and over here, and then it's attached to each axle here, and of course on the other side right down there. Okay, so if you have the sway bar connected and you hit a bump on this side, that pushes the axle up, that pushes that rod up, that pushes the sway bar up, and that forces the frame up here. Okay, so not only is the suspension pushing up on the frame when you hit the bump, the shock's pushing up on the frame, but now you have the sway bar pushing up on the frame as well. So, and when that pushes up on the frame, that sends the shock, the impulse, not just up, but across the whole frame and into the whole vehicle, right? So if we can disconnect that from the frame so that that articulates, it's articulating right here, it's broken right here, right? You're separating it when you disconnect it. So that can go up and down independently without being that energy being transferred to the frame. So it should make the ride a lot smoother. Okay, so this sway bar disconnect is just the third thing we've done to try to smoothen this Jeep out. You know, we spend a lot of time in this Jeep. Sometimes we'll spend a 10 or 12 hour day in the Jeep. We'll leave in the morning, 7, 8 in the morning, go forward driving in the mountains with our buddies, and you know, we don't come home till 10 or 11 that night sometimes. So it can be long days. The first thing we did to smoothen it out was get rid of the E-rated tires. The E-rated tires, of course, made for, you know, a full-size diesel pickup carrying a camper and towing 10,000 pounds. They're super strong sidewalls, super heavy sidewalls, and so they were just super rough. We have to air them down to like 12 pounds just to get a smooth ride out of them. It's still pretty harsh. So we switched to these D-rated tires. These are BFG All-Terrains, and 37 by 1250 R17s. So this is a 124 tire. Okay, so this means it's a load range D. And so that's between a C and an E, of course. C is more like a passenger or very light truck, you know, not made to carry a lot of weight at all. This is a 50 PSI max. Okay, so this isn't the 80 PSI max like is on the E-rated tires. So D-rated tire, much, you know, softer sidewall, a good compromise between a C, which would be maybe too soft for this 4-door JK, you know, with 4 people inside and all the gear and all the recovery equipment. So we decided to go with the D, and I think it's a good compromise. Just putting these on, getting rid of the E-rated tires and putting these on just made a world of difference off-road, and so it became much smoother. And so we, you know, we're not even really airing down if we're going to a friend's house in the backcountry, you know, down a dirt road or whatever. It's not a big deal because we can just kind of bomb down the road, and it's not harsh anymore. And just we were so amazed just changing tires from the E-rated to the D-rated tires how much smoother it was. Okay, so that was the first thing we did. The second thing we did was just recently we put on these Bilston 5100s. Now these are, you know, I put these on my diesel pickup, and I can't tell you, I'm like aiming for bumps in my diesel pickup because it's so smooth and it just soaks things up now. They're just really well made shocks and not super expensive either. And you know, we got rid of the Pro Comps. We had Pro Comps on here and they were super stiff, and these Bilston 5100s have just made a big difference as well. So we put these in the front on my 2 buddies that are big 4-wheelers. You know, you know, we went back and forth on their opinions about 5100s versus the Rancho RS9000s adjustables. So we decided to go ahead and put the RS9000 adjustables on the back. So that's what we did. And these are backed off all the way. And but I can crank them up if I need to, you know, if I feel like the bottom's sagging too much, or, you know, if we're climbing climb and I feel like it's squatting too hard on one side, I can crank them up so that it's not squatting so hard and body rolling. Of course, we do have a sway bar on this back end still. And so these, you know, rolling down the road, hitting a bump with these, it's made it even smoother. Now, of course, the third thing is this sway bar disconnect. And I'm super excited about this because now in two-wheel drive, bombing down a dirt road for 20 miles or whatever, when you don't want to be on four-wheel drive, this will be super, super sweet having this.